And well, I'm wondering if anyone's going to join me, but it doesn't matter because I'm recording for anyone who wishes to join me live, and if you are watching later as a catch up on the YouTube channel, we are going to be just spending a little bit of extra time together this afternoon. And please let me know in the chat if you have been able to join me and sign in. I don't know how long that takes. I know there's a delay on the chat in Streamlabs, so I don't know how long that takes to actually get anything up. But it's great, always great to be in Chester, but it is better to be here on a sunny day than a very wet day like today. That is for sure. And yeah, I had one of those frustrating days today that we can get as guides from time to time, a little bit more often than we'd like, if truth be told. I got up here in plenty of time because my ghost tour is not till the early evening, but I made sure I was up here in plenty of time because I was planning to film one of my routes in Chester, so that we've got another As Live tour that we can enjoy, and maybe do something else as well. But the weather had other ideas. It has been raining heavily for most of the day, and it's only now that it's actually stayed dry for more than a couple of minutes at a time. And I've really not got any chance anymore to do the filming because I don't think I've got enough daylight left to do an entire tour before it gets a little bit too dark, and I can't even guarantee that it's going to stay dry for any length of time for us to actually do that. So I thought that what I'd do instead would be to make just a short video for the YouTube channel, just taking a little walk around part of Chester that we don't normally come to on the tours so much, because one of the things I really have noticed today is that well, we're considerably further north, and a couple of days ago we were in Gloucester, and somebody commented during the tour that the trees were still very green in Gloucester, and here in Chester we are about 150 miles north of there. And one of the things I have noticed definitely is that the trees around here, and as I was journeying up, are much more further along the autumn path, and they have beautiful colours. And I thought that we could go and have a little walk through the park, maybe down to the river, and just enjoy some of the autumn colours here in Chester as a way of just making the most of a little bit of dry weather and a little bit of daylight that we've got left. So let me show you where I am, shall we? I've got a interesting start point because I'm outside St John's Church, which is one of the oldest churches in Chester, and was the site of the very first cathedral. So the current Chester Cathedral only became a cathedral in the 16th century when the abbey on that site, St Werburger's Abbey, was closed. And 500 years earlier than that, St John's Church had been, not for very long, but for a short time, Chester's very first cathedral. And we still have this beautiful church today, mainly though a Victorian rebuild. But the church, a little bit smaller than it used to be, and parts of the medieval cathedral and church of St John are now these ruined stone sections that we can see here at the end. So when the church was kind of rebuilt, it was decided that they did not need such a large church as had previously been the case, and so they created a much smaller church as we see today, and that's why the original eastern end of the church is now these beautiful ruined stoneworks. And it's really important to be clear that this is part of the old St John's Church and Cathedral, because it would be very easy to come here knowing that this is a Roman city and see these ruins and perhaps think that it might be something to do with those Romans from back many centuries earlier, but not in fact the case. It's very much medieval building work here, the original east end of St John's. It's very slippery here underfoot, and the leaves underfoot. Very slippery indeed. But what we can do from this way, let me just turn around and let you take a little look back. This is what the ruins look like. Oh well, look at this. We know we have some squirrel action. Look at this. 3 squirrels, look. One, 2, 3, 4. I can see 4. There they go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. Just 4 squirrels today. Oh, they're not quite as friendly as the ones in Coventry. I think we can say. It's lovely to see them. But look at the autumn colours that we can see from here. Just a little bit of a contrast to what we saw down in Gloucester a few days ago, and even at home in Birmingham, which is about 85 miles further south than here. Really see as we go towards the north of the country, where temperatures generally are a little bit lower and it's a little bit wetter, the season progresses a little bit faster through towards autumn and winter, and we get to enjoy its beautiful colours. And one of the places that we can do that to best effect is over here in this beautiful 19th century park, which is called Grosvenor Park, and it's named after the Grosvenor family, which is one of the biggest landowning families in the Cheshire area for many centuries, and so hugely influential family in the history of Chester, responsible for a lot of construction work and also a lot of work for the good of the people of the city as well, such as providing the land for a new park, a public park, back in the 19th century. And I mean, it's not as though the Grosvenor family don't have money to spare for such projects. The Grosvenor family, that's the family name, Grosvenor, but the title they hold is Dukes of Westminster. And the Duke of Westminster have traditionally been probably the wealthiest people in the country. Wealthier than our monarchs, that's for sure. And indeed, the current holder of the title, he's one of the wealthiest people under the age of 35 in the whole world, because he's around about 31, 32 years old now, and inherited the title on the death of his father a couple of years ago. This beautiful avenue of trees down here in Grosvenor Park. which is a lovely space for the people of the city to enjoy. I'm going to turn around actually because I think we should take a little wander down towards the river, because there's some lovely trees and riverside garden down there too that we can go and enjoy. I'm sticking very much to the paths. If you've ever been on any of my tours, you'll know that I like to go off piste a little bit sometimes, especially where there's woodlands concerned. But the ground is very, very waterlogged, very slippery, so I'm erring on the side of safety, and definitely sticking to the paths today. And I'm very pleased that the tour that I'm doing later doesn't involve going up onto the city walls. It's always a great part of some of the tours of Chester to get up on the city walls, but it is very slippery on the steps and on the walkways on top of the walls, so I'm actually really pleased that we're not going to be going up there later. So we're heading downhill here, down towards the River Dee here in Chester, which flows into the Irish Sea. The estuary is actually very, very close to here, and transport boats on the River Dee were what made Chester a very important and wealthy city in the past, because the boats could come up the estuary and into the port of Chester. But it was only around about 400 to 500 years ago the estuary of the River Dee became very silted up, and you could no longer get big ships in, and so all the trade transferred a few miles away, just across the Wirral Peninsula, where you have the Mersey and you have the city of Liverpool, and Liverpool took over as the main port in this part of the country. Lovely part of the woodlands and gardens here in the park, and we're heading down towards the river where there's a lovely riverside walkway. Oh, another squirrel. There's lots of squirrels in this park. I can hear birds singing, but I can't actually see them. Oh, there's a squirrel. Yeah. And we got a wood pigeon there as well. So here's the River Dee, and let's go up onto this suspension bridge, pedestrian bridge that was constructed in 1923 to link the main city with the suburb of Hanbridge, which is on the other side of the River Dee. Really beautiful bridge. And all the water levels high. Oh, we can see, the flooding recently. The Dee is not, it is prone to flooding, but not as much as some of the other rivers, such as the Severn. But the water level is high here along the river. As we're looking down there towards the weir, towards the stone bridge there, which is called the Old Dee Bridge. And if you feel that the camera is actually juddering up and down a little bit at this point, it's not that I've got the shakes, it's that This is a pedestrian bridge, and it's one of these suspension bridges that does bounce up and down a little bit as several people walk along it. So if the camera is juddering, I promise you that is why. And with this lovely view, that's where I'm going to leave you for now, and I hope I will see you later, 6:30, up in the centre of town, right at the other end of the city centre by the North Gate. And that's where we're going to start our ghost tour through 2,000 years of history of Chester. So thank you very much for watching this video. Your support, as always, is very much appreciated, and I will see you later. Bye for now, everybody.